So, guys, 40th anniversary.
Woohoo!
It's coming up faster than we all think.
Oh, I'm excited.
It is February
Game and Watch.
February 21st is the official.
It's a week before my birthday. Let's go.
Yeah, it's official anniversary date. So came out February 21st, 1986.
I'll take a 40th anniversary direct and Pokemon, stuff at the same time. Let's
Zelda 1 and 2 remake. That's all they're giving us.
It's also Metroid's 40th anniversary next year too, which hopefully
maybe
that's recognized.
We get Metroid 6,
which I think they'll probably do. They'll probably do nothing except hopefully.
I could see
Metroid 6, the new Metroid Dread or whatever.
I could see them do a Metroid Primes.
All right,
bundle.
let's keep it on Zelda. We just talked
We're
about
going right back to Metroid.
Metroid bundle, but with all the Metroids.
Here we go. Metroid Lego.
Yeah, so 40th anniversary, February 21st, okay? We have the Mario movie coming out April 3rd, right? So Nintendo's marketing is, they're going to be very busy because it's going to be your first full calendar year for Switch 2. You get to monitor closely how you're going to, I don't know, still appeal to the Switch 1 owners, but get them to try to come over to Switch 2. They're obviously still going to feed that install base, but you want to transition them over. You want to try and sunset Switch. You got a lot going on, man. How is it all going to play out is the question. So there's some rumors for Zelda things happening throughout the year, according to Nash Weedle. This is what he said. I believe he tweeted this. 4 Zelda things are happening throughout the year. So we know about the rumored Lego set. Obviously, we've all spoken about the Ocarina of Time remake rumors. But that's just 2 things. What else do we get? Obviously, the movie. Movie's coming out May 7th, 2027. That's my 42nd birthday. Is the 4 Zelda things a trailer for it?
Yeah, I think
you would think,
get that
but
first trailer.
But I feel like it's common sense we're gonna get a trailer for it. Like, you don't need to say this is a rumor. Like, of course we're gonna get one. It's coming out in May. You usually get a trailer for a movie about 6 to 12 months before. So yeah, we're gonna get that. But what else could it be? What about games, guys? Just to kind of set the stage, you look at this year, we got Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Switch 2 editions. We got Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom, free Switch 2 upgrades. So we got essentially 4
Hyrule Warriors.
And Hyrule Warriors. That's a lot so far.
And Soul Calibur 2 with Link on the NSO GameCube app.
So there's a lot. There's a lot already.
A lot of little things.
Yeah, a lot of little tiny things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Breath and Tears aren't even selling that much as Switch 2 editions.
Yeah, well, it's because most people that buy a Switch 2 already had a Switch 1. Just get
right. I mean, they're just kind of there to get some evergreen sales.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. So I guess let's start with the rumors. What do we think the 4 things are that we're gonna get?
Well, the Lego set that was part of the piggyback, right? So
I think it's gonna be more than 4 things, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
He may have just heard of 4 things.
I think substantially more, to be honest.
He said it. The thing I said it. So the 4 things, I think it might just be 4 things that he's aware of, or the person he knows is aware of. I think it could be 4 events potentially that are going to have announcements in them.
Zelda concert.
The crazy thing is he mentioned that it begins in January, and I was like,
well, that doesn't include Hyrule Warriors or anything, then, right?
Yeah, he assumed that meant Hyrule Warriors, but Hyrule Warriors is this year, so his assumption was wrong.
Right.
So he was told it begins in January. So what the fuck do you mean it begins in January?
Now, I think it might just be more so like a 2026 initiative.
I think about this. let's say it begins in January, but there's not like a direct or anything. I kept thinking, like, what would they do then? Because there's technically no Nintendo game announced for January. The only thing is Final Fantasy VII. Okay. Is this where Wind Waker Twilight Princess come out? Post holidays.
Lord, please.
I think it's possible. So I made a video a few days ago kind of on this subject. Like, I think this 40th anniversary is probably like our last chance to get this rumored bundle. And I thought about it for a moment, especially after the Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle. Like, this would be a Switch 1 title, right? Like, if you want to have something,
it's going to be it's going to be like Galaxy.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, if the Ocarina of Time remake is a real thing, right, that would not be for Switch 1. That's going to be a Switch 2 thing.
You think so?
And
yeah, that's interesting. I just have never thought about it that way.
Well, yeah, because it's gonna the idea behind it, right, is it would be an ambitious Zelda release to excite the fan base. You want to have an ambitious Zelda title early on for Switch 2.
Right.
You can't put out Tears of the Kingdom 2 or whatever it's gonna be. They're gonna have
right.
You get my point. It's gonna take years.
Yeah.
So the only thing they can do is remake a game ambitiously, right? And so that could be great from a perspective of getting out of an exciting Zelda title early on, but also have an exciting Zelda title to also play a role in the whole marketing scheme of the movie.
Right.
Yeah. The same way they're putting out Galaxy 1 and 2 right before this Galaxy movie. There'll probably also be a Mario game to follow as well afterwards, as they did with Mario Wonder with the prior Mario movie, right? So my point is that they want to have some Zelda things leading up to the Zelda movie, right? It's basically like what they're doing with Mario. They've seen that it works. There's a good chance they'll do it with Zelda. We even know that Onuma was at Nintendo Universal planning something, right? So like they might be about to announce
theme park
expansions to that.
Yeah. When reports that's going to be the next expansion. Zelda,
yeah. So. But anyways, if we're getting this remake, whatever it is, I think it's Ocarina of Time. I think the evidence is mounting, especially because we're hearing about another Ocarina of Time Lego set that's coming out in March, right? If that's true, that could be one of the things. But they're probably going to want to have something for Switch 1 owners because the Zelda movie is for everyone, right? So they want to get this cross promotion going on both sides. Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD. They're very easy to get out there. They sport green tunic Link, which I think might be another big part of the movie. Right, because they want to popularize that green Link identity with the movie. So putting out games like Ocarina of Time, maybe this bundle of Twilight Princess Wind Waker would make a lot of sense to build to that. The same way using the Galaxy games to build to the Galaxy movie. Or similar.
I think if they were to put out Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, I don't think this directly correlates with it, but if they were going to do remakes, I think which one is a sequel to Wind Waker? Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we could get a Link's Awakening-esque style remake of that game
someday.
Next year. I just think next year.
Sure.
I think that would be a great game. I think one of those easier games would be the game to have cross on the Switch and Switch 2. Especially if you're saying like Ocarina of Time would be the ambitious Switch 2 game. We could have Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, bundle, put that out there. And then
I have an ideal scenario that goes beyond next year. And I'll let you go into second game, Bird. It would be if Ocarina of Time's getting an ambitious remake like we think, then we assume Majora's Mask is going to get it as well. And there's no way the time works for this.
I am not assuming that.
I don't assume that as well.
Well, and I'm telling you right now, just like we've got Ocarina of Time 3D, they've already remade the game technically once on the 3DS, and then they did it for Majora's Mask.
Remastered, but okay.
Whatever.
Right.
The point is that, like, I think that they would do it to Majora's Mask as well. My ideal scenario would be Ocarina of Time remake next year, Zelda movie, Majora's Mask in 2027 after the Zelda movie.
If
that would be
develop them at the same time. Honestly.
Yeah, but like, there's no way that they have Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. That would be sick. But like to your point, like in the Phantom Hourglass Spirit Tracks, like sure, that could be something they could have.
I just feel like those are forgotten Zelda games at this point.
And Grezzo's got a lot of history bringing 3DS games back.
Right.
Yeah. The remake for Ocarina of Time, if it's happening, could even happen after, right? It could be that game that follows the movie,
or a holiday title leading into the movie.
Well, I hope it's that. Because I want it sooner than later, but I'm just saying that they might have. I do think there's something to the idea of games leading up to the movie and games following the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Imagine a holiday season that has a new 3D Mario, Ocarina of Time remake, and Gen 10 Pokemon.
Wild.
Or Black and White
Wild
remake
times,
too.
dude.
Nintendo, you better
that'd
have
be
like 20 million Switch 2s ready.
They
It's
will.
possible too, which is
Probably
which
will,
is
but-
crazy. Just based on the way things are lining up, that is a total possibility.
I mean,
but
aren't they
I
gonna
want
be
to.
close to 20 by March, or like 15 or 20 by March? Like,
Yeah.
isn't that their goal? I forget
Yeah.
the exact.
Yeah,
amount.
June, I think.
It's
or
something
something.
around there.
15 million
But-
this fiscal year. Is there?
Yeah, so
I-
by Christmas 2026, they might even be close to 30.
Yeah, I think we probably get that
I don't know
Zelda
how many they
edition
need to
Switch
have ready
too.
to sell that holiday season. Like if they have those,
Like
three
20 plus.
like they might need that many because the demand will be so insane from so many different fan bases.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think they'll get over 30 million systems sold. There'll be 30 plus systems sold after holiday 2026 if they have that lineup.
Because I think about it, I did the look back on this. The very first holiday for Switch, they sold 7.2 million that quarter during the
Wow.
holiday season, which is a lot. Last holiday quarter, they still sold like 6 million Switches
Right.
without that kind of lineup. Imagine that sort of lineup for Switch 2. Are you fucking kidding me?
Bro,
You're
and
gonna
then in
sell every Switch 2 you can
2027,
get out.
then they got Smash and Animal Crossing.
For
Yeah, dude. Smash and Animal Crossing, and then some other Zelda remaster or something.
they-
Zelda. They do something Zelda every year, and then
At that point, they start
Mario
advertising the
Party?
new Zelda. Yeah.
probably a
Yeah.
Mario Party at that point as well. A new
well, I
one.
think some Zelda
Oh my
spin-offs too that we're not even expecting. We just got a Pokemon.
What if they drop a new
weird
3D
spin-off.
Kirby?
Yeah.
3D Kirby's got to come at some point again.
When
Luigi's
did they
Mansion
release
4.
the Zelda Game & Watch? Was that for the 35th anniversary?
Yes.
God, I
Oh,
love it.
dude,
Such a good
and-
product,
We
seriously.
had that for 2027, and then all of a sudden we're to 2028, and we're like 3D Zelda. Oh my God, could we be on an incredible 3-year run?
I feel like that next giant big 3D Zelda is
Oh, you're getting me
years
hyped.
away, unfortunately.
Well, that is years away.
Now I'm
That
talking
was-
about like 2028 going in. Like,
2028.
I
that
think
is
it's a while.
2028 is like the
2028.
optimistic outcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2028 would be 5 years after Tears. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it wild that 5 years is because it has become optimistic?
Well, I mean, Zelda's all. If you look at the past, like the 3D ones, it's outside of the craziness when they did Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. It's been like 5-6 years between every time. So like it's
Right,
actually
right.
kind of cool.
I mean, maybe that's more reason to think about the remake. Like Nintendo may realize, like, hey, we can't wait this long for Zelda. We need
Yeah.
something in between. So if they have 2D Zelda, an
also-
ambitious remake, and a new one, that's
Yeah.
kind of like a good.
And I also don't
cycle.
think they want the new one to come too late in the cycle. Like they don't
Yeah.
want it to be in the final 2 years, like Tears of the Kingdom was. Not because it won't sell well, guys. It will, but it gets rid of the evergreen chance of it selling for like
Won't
3,
sell
4
last
years.
long, yeah.
And I do think that it can set it up where if they release it in 2028, there's at least a shot that the next Zelda game could be a launch game for the new system, as they've proven Zelda games are great for launching systems.
Right.
Not saying they would happen, because that would mean the next system probably isn't out to like 2032, 33, which is a pretty long session. But if you think about it, came out in 2025, that's 8 years.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming 8-year generations now.
Yeah,
too.
if it's the 8-year gen, it actually isn't unrealistic to think then the next one could be a launch game. So that's why I like trying to get it out by 2028. I think. By the way, I think this is probably an internal goal. Whether we all
Yeah.
know how the games get delayed. So
Well, I mean, we had COVID and that created issues. you
yeah,
know.
that extended how long it took to make Tears of the Kingdom. For
I
sure.
also think that, and this is my speculation, but I think because of the limitations of Switch hardware, they wanted to do a lot, and they found a way to do it, but it required a great deal of time figuring it out. Like developers are completely floored by what Nintendo was able to accomplish with Tears of the Kingdom.
Right.
That can't have been easy. That can't have been done quickly. So I'm just saying, like maybe with Switch 2, it's easier to kind of do crazy stuff, and so it doesn't take them as long. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, isn't that part of the point, right? Like we're devs are consistently like there are some companies that just have dedicated teams that just figuring out new tools to make development easier. Like you look at all stuff we hear from Monolith Soft, they're always figuring out different things to streamline development. So, one would hope that maybe for Switch 2, they can not take 6 to 7 years to make a game.
Yeah. I mean that's obviously the hope. And we know that they've been hiring a Monolith Soft, not just for their games, but for their team that works on Zelda as well. I mean, the Zelda teams weren't I think technically the biggest development team they have at Nintendo right now, which is fine. And the games now sell so much they obviously can support those big budgets.
Right.
Gamer, you wanted to talk earlier about some Zelda
Yeah.
stuff. What do you got here, man?
Yeah. So I wanted to jump onto, we were talking about Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, and I'm not convinced that those are coming to Switch 2. And the reason why is not because we have Wind Waker on NSO, although I do think it's more likely we'll get an NSO version of Twilight Princess. The reason is I feel like it's a tougher sell, even though a lot of people, in this community are saying we want Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess HD. I feel like it's a tougher sell selling an inferior version of the games on Switch 2. And the reason why I say inferior version is because the Wii U was a dual screen console that had your map and your inventory. You don't have to break the immersion. You have to hit pause. You're literally selling a worse version for, yes, Nate.
Just a counterpoint, the Wii U sold 13 million. Most people don't even fucking know this.
Yeah.
They know the GameCube version and the Wii version.
I know.
Yeah, so I'd like to it's like, oh, it's
Xenoblade
inferior,
X,
but most people
Pikmin
aren't
3
even-
Deluxe. Like there
So
are a lot of Wii U adapted games.
Yeah, I agree with your point, your premise that it would be worse because the gamepad was so great.
You're releasing a downgraded version of the original.
Most
and look
people
at like
know.
I mean, I'll even make the comparison. Like, I loved Mario Maker 2, but let's all be honest here. What made the first Mario Maker so great was the touchpad and designing your courses.
It was way better.
It's something that obviously they have a solution now with Switch 2 with mouse mode if they ever do a Mario Maker 3. But it is a lesser version. There's a reason that the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask were so fantastic, and the same reason applies to the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. I think that we just recently got Wind Waker on the NSO, and I think they could easily drop Twilight Princess. And who knows, guys, like, we have gyro, we have motion controls with Switch 2. I would not be surprised to see Wii NSO land on Switch 2. There's
Link's
so many
cross-pro training.
There's so many great gems on there. So if they do the Wii version of Twilight Princess, and this lends itself to Metroid Prime trilogy, even,
Years from now, maybe. We don't know. Many years.
I'm just like, I'm not saying that they're not coming. I'm just not sold on the idea. Like, I feel more confident about Prime 2 and 3 than I do about Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair because of what we've seen on NSO. But we do have that thing where Tim Geddes spoke to Nate Bildorf, and Nate said, hey, yeah, just because Wind Waker's on NSO doesn't mean we can't bring Wind Waker HD or a remaster later down the road.
I've just never thought they were going to do a bundle for both of those games. It's Nintendo. Like, Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are damn near the same game, so I get it being a bundle. I know there's been rumors forever. I just cannot see Nintendo.
Well, that's the thing, though. That they wouldn't be doing much work for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. The games already exist.
Good.
It would be a similar level of effort.
Just like anything we think Nintendo's going to do that makes sense and is positive and is awesome, they're like, we're not doing it, guys.
And actually, you know what? The more I think about it, yeah, they'll probably sell it for $80.
$80, yeah, I can see that, but
but that's the thing. It makes more sense now than ever, because before we were like, hey, maybe would they sell us for $60? No, but would they sell it to us for 80? Yes.
Switch 2 editions, like official Switch 2 editions.
Well, I think
upscaled maybe.
If they come out next year, right? If that's the idea, I think they would be Switch 1, but there'd be a free 4K enhancement.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
God, if it's $80.
And then I just want to touch really quick on a couple more things, just a couple more predictions that I think are likely. I think the big one, obviously the big one, I think we're all in agreement. The movie is going to be a huge part of this celebration.
Fake news. It's a rumor.
This is a groundbreaking moment for Nintendo and the Zelda IP getting a live action full scale movie. This is a huge deal. So this is certainly going to be part of the celebration. I think the game that makes the most sense to reveal isn't Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess, and instead is a remake of a beloved game in the franchise. We've all discussed it here a million times. Ocarina of Time, it's the game of choice. It's the one that for a lot of people is the most nostalgic. It's the one
it's the quintessential Zelda.
It's genre defining. Like it set the standard for what like open world fantasy games could be, bringing a 2D adventure game to 3D for the first time and having a mount system where you have your own horse and you're exploring these epic lands. So I think that one makes the most sense.
There's another remake that I actually thought you were talking about, Cameron, that might be a better fit. I actually thought you were going to say Ripened at Tinkle's Balloon Trip of Love.
that game's too big to mention for this anniversary.
Right.
Nintendo goes bigger on the 5s, so I'm
That's
saving
the
that one
50th.
for either the 45th or the 50th. Yeah,
there you go.
The whole trilogy.
But I expect some sort of a hardware related thing, whether it's golden Joy-Cons or a golden Pro controller or a golden Switch,
cartridge.
Golden cartridge even.
Golden Switch 2 case.
Yeah, I'm expecting that.
Probably gonna be
and then the other one that I wanted to mention, and this is based off of some of the changes that we've seen at this place, but guys, there's potential that some sort of Zelda attraction might be coming to Universal Studios. And this would be a huge thing. We've got the movie,
I think it's a given for sure.
Through Universal. We have some sort of Zelda attraction coming to the theme park, at least in Florida. Like, that's a big deal. Now it's not just the movie that's groundbreaking history. Now it's like, oh, you love Zelda? Go experience it in real life at this new Zelda attraction. So I think remake, movie, attraction, and hardware are or hardware that includes accessory. I think those are the 4 key pillars. And yes, obviously, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD are possible. I'm just not sold on that yet. I feel like I'm probably in the minority on this one.
I think it's fine because we've been waiting so many years. So like,
every year we're like, it's coming to the Switch this year, or it's coming this year.
I think this is our last chance, to be honest.
Truly, yeah.
What's cool is that I say my expectations to you guys, and then I'm like, wow, like my expectations are also my hopes, which is really cool to say. So I don't know. That's where I'm at. That's my piece on the anniversary.
Wow, we haven't heard from Stash. It's his topic. So what are we thinking?
Yeah. So we kind of touched on some of it. So for next year, I think we'll see a trailer. Obviously, the movie doesn't come till 2027, but I think they'll still be celebrating a little bit for the 40th. Game Bird, you mentioned controllers, right? Or like a gold cartridge. I think those would all be really well received. I'd be in on any of that. That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to get your typical stuff as far as with, different clothing options, right? I think we'll see a bunch of Mario movie stuff. I think we'll see Zelda 40th things and things that will tie in with the movie, all that good stuff. As far as Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, I've mentioned this before in the same vein as Galaxy 1 and 2. I think I mentioned this in your video as well, but I could see Wind Waker and Twilight Princess coming out as a Switch 1 game that will perform better on Switch 2. Again, I predict that last year around March. And I did for Mario as well, and it happened. I think that's going to happen again. I think that's a given. I think it makes sense, and that's how you feed the Switch 1 install base and the Switch 2. It's easy. It's one SKU. And again, we're seeing it play out right now. So let's see how well Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 do. And again, you got to remember, Galaxy 1's already been released.
Yeah,
so
All-Stars, right?
If this does really good, which I believe it's going to do amazing, then how well would a Wind Waker or Twilight Princess do?
Mm-hmm.
I think considerably better. There are couple other things that I'd like to see. I still want them to get Link Between Worlds onto a console. I think that's important. I think we get that off 3DS and get it onto a console. If I could have one Zelda game remade, it would be Link to the Past with a fully orchestrated soundtrack, HD 2D.
God. Get out
Oh
of
my
here.
god, HD
Yeah.
would
Killing
be
me.
incredible.
It's my favorite 2D Zelda. My favorite 3D, of course, Ocarina of Time. My favorite overall is Ocarina of Time. But Link to the Past, I love it dearly. Would
Mhm.
love to see that. I also do question when it comes to the 2D outings. Yeah, I think we're gonna get the Oracle games remade on Switch
Did
2.
Capcom have anything to do with those, or is it just Minish
Yeah.
Cap? It
They
is,
did.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're gonna get those. I don't think they're gonna use the same engine as Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom.
I hope not.
I mean, look, they could use a similar engine, but what I really am focused on is the art style. I think the art style, right,
Yeah.
will be different. You could use the same engine with a different art style, but I think those are going to be something we see.
What about what are your thoughts on this? Because I was just thinking this was a game that I predicted would come to Switch 1. Obviously, it never came to fruition. Game that I feel like needs to land on one of these consoles. A Link Between Worlds, the spiritual successor to A Link to the Past. They could do it.
That's what I said. That's the first thing I said.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to see it. Yeah, I think that'd be great. And but my point is, like, you got to get that off 3DS.
Absolutely.
Because it's such a gem, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. Do you bring that over first?
Right.
Or do you have plans to do something at some point with A Link to the Past? And would you rather give us that first, so then you can then give us the spiritual successor, Link Between Worlds, at a later time, right?
Mm.
I did mention this before. I think there's a good chance that Ocarina of Time is going to play into the movie. Really do.
A lot more now that we're seeing it. It's like, yep, we're making a Galaxy movie and we're releasing Galaxy games.
Yeah, and I looked at one of our old podcasts when we talked about this. I did this last week actually, and I'd brought this up. I think it was in May of 2024 on the podcast about Ocarina of Time getting fully remade. Talked about giving it Final Fantasy VII treatment as far as everything you've added to it, right? Not as far as like changing the gameplay so much, but all the things that you've added. And I mentioned Ocarina of Time and how, like, hey, if you look at all the Zelda titles, which one would really represent the IP, and which one could you make a movie out of?
Right.
And I think this title just, again, it resonates with everybody.
Yeah.
And if you're remaking, again, these are all the same things I said in May, but this is the highest rated video game of all time. Zelda is. Ocarina of Time is the highest rated video game of all time. So if you're going to remake that, right, you got to do it right. You got to do it big. And if you're going to make any Zelda game into a movie,
3D upscaled.
Yeah.
Like, this is not that.
No.
This is going to be maybe Nintendo's most ambitious remake ever.
In that podcast episode, though, that I just rewatched last week.
Really?
He said, you said, and I actually have the clip, but you thought Ocarina of Time, the only way we get a new Ocarina of Time is if they take the 3DS version and upscale it. That's literally what you said.
Sure. Yeah.
This was in May of 2024, and that's when I said I truly believe we're gonna get Ocarina of Time full remake, and you said there's no way in hell we are. The only way we're getting it is if we get the 3DS version upscale. But last week you said we are.
Well,
I don't-
here's the thing.
Opinions
And now you're
can
saying
change.
we aren't again.
Wait, hold on.
Maybe he
Pause.
just had a bad day.
Pause real quick. I just want to say something in defense of Prime. You guys in Ocarina of Time with this man.
You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
remember
This
shit.
game-
so good.
This game that Nate clearly loves has been haunting him for
You
years.
can't remember
I
shit
don't
about
think
it.
love is kind of a strong word, isn't it? Like his eighth favorite Zelda game. Or
It's
something?
probably my 8th favorite
Yeah.
Zelda, and Zelda's my favorite franchise.
11.
I think it's great. But
11th. You monster.
How many
I-
Zelda games are there? There's a lot. I love them all.
Oh, like
this
15.
sounds blasphemous, but I put
15?
Skyward Sword
Oh my
HD
God.
over Ocarina of
You
Time.
call yourself a Zelda fan, and you said 15 out loud. I can't even.
I mean,
I love
listen,
them all.
Skyward's. Here's the thing. Like
I love
the
Skyward
problem
Sword
is that
HD.
Ocarina of Time was made in the 90s, right? Like
Yeah, I played
I-
it in the 90s, so I think it's great. I think it's amazing. I
Yeah,
I don't have the
November
connection to it for some
98.
reason.
I don't know, and
Very
that's
special.
fine.
I
you'll
just
like
had
it
to
with
address
Ocarina of Time
this- I
remake.
just had to address this slander that was just thrown my way since Sash wanted to trash me and even made sure he had the clip so he could play it if I tried to deny it.
That's crazy.
I'm not
Gotta
denying my stance. Okay, I'm not denying my stance back then. That was a year and a half ago.
Your opinion can
I'm-
change.
Since then,
Yeah.
Right, that's true.
we have
yeah.
had rumors come up that it's being remade, not remastered.
Yeah, I
Back
brought up
then-
all these reasons in May.
Yeah,
I just rewatched it and you didn't believe me.
No, you had those reasons. You can have look anyone. Okay, let me.
But I don't need a rumor to know what's going to happen. Is what I'm telling you.
I know that, Stash. I know that.
That's
What
why
I'm
you should
trying
believe me.
No, Stash. Anyone can come up if you want to make extremely good arguments that something's going to happen. Anyone, I shouldn't say anyone, but a good argument can come up for anything to exist. You literally can come up with a really good logical argument for anything. So just because you had really good logical arguments, which you always do, because of course you do. You're well researched. You're very experienced. If you're going to make a point, it's going to be something you've thought about and you've looked into a little bit. Okay. So yes, you had really good logical reasoning. However, I am someone that I'm a news channel, right? I follow the news. I follow the trends. So I form a lot of my thoughts based on what I'm covering. And yes, I thought something with Ocarina of Time was going to happen. We had those interviews, Onuma hinting, all this kind of stuff. But I just kind of figured at the time, hey, a from the ground up, this was my logic at the time. A from the ground up remake is exciting, but I don't think they'd trust anyone to do it but the Zelda team. And if they're doing that, that's just going to push back the 3D Zelda. I don't think they're going to do that. So I think it's more likely they have Grezzo or something just do what they've done with prior 3DS games and just find a way to bring it into HD or 4K. That's kind of where my mind was at the time. Now, since then, we have had rumors from people like Nashweedle, who have this year at least been extremely reliable. A lot of stuff they said. They make you go, okay, maybe it's not that, because he basically said that's not that. It's a remake. So I'm like, okay, well then I still don't think the Zelda team is the one doing it. So then you start to think, is this something they got Bandai Namco working on? Is this something, that they got some other partner company working? So I started to come around to this idea is in addition to the reasons you already had, now we have some rumors that are suggesting that also could be happening. So then I'm like, okay, I'll shift my mind a little bit and consider the possibility. I still believe it is entirely possible that it is just a 4K version of Ocarina of Time 3D. That absolutely could be what's happening. And I think some people would be happy with that. Some people would be very disappointed with that. But I have now opened my mind to believing that it is more likely to be a remake, just not by the Zelda team. And I think they'd be very careful at who they pick to remake it. I mean, the Zelda team be overseeing it, of course. They
I
oversee
just want to say that Nashweedle has talked about that it's an internal Nintendo project.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
had thought for a moment. See, when I saw like Bandai Namco, my other consideration that I had, and you could probably go back on one of the podcast episodes, I believe I mentioned it, is that maybe it's Monolith Soft, and that would be internal.
Yeah, I always get kind of there's some smart people that I'm friends with that like to say that it's not really Nintendo when it's like Monolith Soft or Retro or Next Level Games. And I'm like, well, it is though, because they're wholly owned.
Yeah.
Right. I think people
the company floating around.
there. I mean, I guess people want to make like making the distinction of is it
It's gotta
EPD?
be EAD.
Well, now I mean, yeah, it used to be EAD, right? But EPD,
Yeah,
same difference, right?
EPD,
They
yeah,
just changed the
yeah.
name of. But
I don't. I just want to put this out here really quick because what we've seen from Grezzo has been Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on the 3DS and the Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom does not mean that it's a company that's incapable of making a modern open world from the ground up, beautiful, stunning Zelda game. There's no reason why they can't. I mean, look how beautiful is Expedition 33 from a team of 30 people, their first game.
oh,
So
even
why?
crazier. You know what Game
Yeah,
Freak? The Game Freak game. The Game Freak
Oh
game.
yeah.
Well, they didn't make that
So-
on their own.
So
There's two studios.
my point is just because they don't have a history of making
They're
games that
responsible.
look like what you'd imagine this
I
to
love-
be,
Hold
doesn't
on,
mean that they're not fully equipped to.
Pause. Okay, this Game Freak game gets brought up a lot when people talk about the game. Oh, Game Freak, look what they can do. Literally, they featured both studio names at the same time, but everyone just says Game Freak because they don't know who the other studio is. It's wild to be like, they clearly announced it together as a joint project.
Sure, but they're a part of it.
Well, yeah, they're a part of it, but like, what I'm saying is like, we give it game. Look what Game Freak can do, but they didn't do it on their own. Like another studio,
Guys. This isn't the Nintenbyte podcast. It's the Nintenbyte.
Actually, I mean, that used to, yeah, that was a prior podcast. The Nintenbyte podcast.
Oh, I just wanted to point out that like we gotta be careful giving them all the credit for it because maybe they couldn't do that on their own.
What's the name of the game? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember.
Oh,
Let's just
gosh.
if I search
Oh,
Game
my
Freak game, I
God.
bet
Is it
it'll
like
come up.
some monster fighting game or something?
Yeah,
Or-
I remember
Beast
a
of
lot.
Reincarnation.
Yeah, Beast of Reincarnation, and people said, "Of course, it's a Game Freak game because it's
It's
running
coming
like
to the
the trailer."
PlayStation.
I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, okay,
So yeah,
that's-
Game Freak only gets credit for the bad stuff. That's fair.
yeah, I know. I'm like, this is so stupid. It does
It's
look
just-
cool. I don't think it's even got a release date, does it?
Not to my at 2026.
Yeah, so sometime next year.
By the way,
that-
when you go to PlayStation, right, PlayStation's YouTube channel, the description of Beast of Reincarnation is this: from developers Game Freak Inc. Beast of Reincarnation launches on PS5 in 2026.
Wow.
So they are
Really
branding it as a
mentioned.
Game Freak game.
Well,
Not
you
saying
mean-
not saying they don't have help, but
What if
Place-
Game Freak owns that other development company?
what?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the
No,
other
I
de-
see-
the
I
other
see what- no,
development
I see what's
company?
happening. No, I see what my confusion was. Okay, I haven't looked at this trailer in a long time. It is developed by Game Freak, so it says developed by Game Freak. It's being published by Fiction.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
it's
Game
then,
Freak solely developed it then.
or by this Fictions
I
company.
mean,
Game
they're
Freak
getting
is-
assistance through funding because that's how
Funding,
publishing works.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and it could be being developed completely different from Pokemon games. They could have temporary hires and all this other stuff, but that's a different
well,
story.
the point is they deserve the credit.
Sure.
Whatever that credit is, be it bad or
And
good,
Right.
That also,
they
by the
deserve
way,
the
means
credit.
they also deserve the criticism that when people looked at it and said it was running
Sure.
poorly. Yeah.
But I mean, it serves Cameron's point though. This game,
Sure.
from a visual perspective,
Sure.
is on a whole other level. It's way beyond anything we've seen in terms of mainline Pokemon games.
Well,
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this though. How we always
I
thought the
would-
limitation with Game Freak was more that like not the okay.
They're
My
cheap.
with
it's
my
the
interpretation-
Pokemon structure. That's
yeah,
the
the
issue.
Pokemon structure and like not being able to delay things, and so I never thought Game Freak was a bad developer. Like I never thought that they just never were given the time
Yeah.
to do anything like this with like they would never Pokemon would never give them the time to do something like this.
There are thousands of Pokemon, and they have to make a game. Like they have Creatures Inc. helping and stuff, but like
No,
it's just there's so much to do. Like the game is too big. Like
Mhm.
you may be able to play it quickly in 30 to 40 hours, right? Which is
didn't they
really
fix
not
that problem? There's no national decks anymore. Didn't they fix
And
that?
but there's it's still hundreds of Pokemon that they have to take care of, right? And then they have to build a story. They have to build new RPG mechanics. They need a new hook. They need a new visual
I'm just
style. Like then there has to be multiplayer. And by the way,
Right.
actually, they've been slowly coming up with new ways to make it easier. Because now, guess what we've
I'm
learned?
so sorry, Game Bird.
No,
I
I'm
started all this.
I'm
started all
sorry about
this.
the tangent. I just want to complete the point. Pokemon Champions is now where the competitive battling is being focused on. So now Game Freak no longer has to worry as much about also considering competitive battling when making their games. They've been spreading themselves too thin for years. That's been the issue. But anyways, yeah, going back to Cameron's point, yes, Grezzo can make a good-looking game.
Yeah, there's no reason for anyone to believe that just because it's Grezzo, the company that did those remasters, and then the cute diorama kind of like Toys to Life looking Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom, that they can't make a game that visually blows Tears of the Kingdom out of the water. There's no reason. And I want to bring up another studio that kind of has a similar history. Blue Point Studios. They work with Sony, but they did in 2009 they did the God of War collection. In 2011 they did the Eco and Shadow of Colossus collection. They also did the Metal Gear Solid HD collection. They did the Uncharted Nathan. They were the collection. They did the Gravity Rush remastered. Then they did the Shadow of the Colossus, that remaster that was stunning. And then they did what to me is still one of the most gorgeous games on the PlayStation 5, the Demon Souls remake. Stunning. And that is a studio that's entire history was just doing remaster collections of older games. So when people say, "Oh, Grezzo, if it's Grezzo, it's not going to look like," that's just a made up rule. That it's literally. I'm not saying that Grezzo is interested in doing that or will be the person. I'm just saying it's a made up rule, because any good studio with a talented team, which these people clearly are, because they've made fantastic remasters and fantastic remakes and a fantastic new game, there's no reason they can't do it. That's the only point that I wanted to hammer in.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm so lost in the chat right now. One of my long-term fans, because like they don't they're saying like Monolith Soft couldn't do Ocarina of Time or whatever, like just or just I don't want to get into too long of a conversation here, but I said, dude, the fact that they make Xenoblade's enough for me to trust him. He's like, Xenoblade's not nearly as good as like the Zelda. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I can't have this conversation. We need to move on. Now I'm in a debate whether Xenoblade is on the same level as Zelda.
All right. Here.
Holy crap.
So we've talked about the rumors. We've talked about some things we'd like to see. Nate, I gave you some shit. I just do because I love you, man.
Yeah,
it's fun.
You giving me shit, Jake giving me shit, and even like on Just Restart when he gives me shit when he's on, I literally have nothing to give you guys shit on. There's like not even one thing I can pull from. You guys just don't fuck up. Make a mistake sometime. God damn it.
Knock on wood.
Damn it. Look, I know I'm close as a frog, guys. It's all right.
There's so many things that Nintendo could do for Zelda's 40th.
Ribbit.
I would love to see a concert. I would if they had one here in Phoenix. I'd go for sure.
I feel like they will.
Yeah, I would. I mean, God, we all love the music.
They've done probably like I would agree with you. I'm just saying, like, if there's anything we're gonna predict for the 40th anniversary, I feel like a concert's the safest bet.
They just usually do it in the big cities.
Oh,
like even though we're I think the 4th largest city in the United States, they do it in like the big cities. The New York bullshit, the LA.
I mean, I'm in Miami, which is a big city. We don't get everything here. Either.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah.
We're not the Lakers.
Nintendo live events here.
We're not the Knicks. Same stuff. They probably have it in maybe San Francisco. Point is, if they had it here in Phoenix, I would be there in a heartbeat. So we'll see. There's other things they can come out with, right? Obviously they did the Game & Watch, things like that. I just want games, really, though. I want to see Twilight and Wind Waker come to fruition. I've never stopped believing on that. I gotta imagine you guys have always kept that door open too.
Yeah,
I closed the door. I closed the door for several months, but then like this week I thought about it, right? Which is why I made the video this week, because like I feel like I thought about how the Galaxy 2 situation. And people were always like scratching their heads since, the 35th anniversary, like, where's Galaxy 2? And as we approach the 40th anniversary, started theorizing, okay, well maybe they saved Galaxy 2 because Galaxy 2 has Yoshi. Yoshi's going to play a role in the next movie, and they announced the Yoshi game, and yeah, we know Yoshi's going to be in the movie, and now we have Galaxy 2, but also Galaxy 1, and they're advertising the Galaxy movie. Like clearly, they saved Galaxy 2 for a reason, right?
Yeah,
it had purpose, and so like we think about the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, they've been rumored for so long. We've been scratching our heads at why haven't they come out? And like these rumors aren't coming from like Reddit, right? These are coming from Video Games Chronicle, GamesBeat, like actual like reputable outlets that have reported on these games existing. And so like, assuming their credibility, right? Some people are just going to assume that they just lied or made it up. I don't think that's the case. I think they were based off something real. The question is this something real going to materialize for the public, right? And so I got to think that they do exist in some shape or form. But for whatever reason, they haven't come out yet. Maybe it is because they are saving it for a particular purpose.
Yeah.
And perhaps that purpose is as part of the 40th anniversary movie buildup.
Get people familiar with Link, his green tunic.
Yeah.
This is Link. This is what he did. Like, yeah, I was thinking about the Mario movie and how the Mario movie is introducing you to Mario. It's like, hey, Mario saves Princess Peach. This is what he does. He goes to the kingdom. For the Zelda movie, it's like, okay, what does he do here? Well, he saves Zelda. He wears a green tunic. Here's Ocarina of Time. This is to get you familiar with everything.
Got the temples. Got the Ganondorf.
Yeah, the temples. Yeah, and Ganondorf as well. Familiarize you with the villain, the Triforce. So yeah, I think that's actually a really good observation about why they saved them.
The thing too, guys, is again, this is what I mentioned with the Mario stuff for the 40th, is that like you really gotta feed both install bases, but also give people a reason to upgrade to Switch 2. And I think Ocarina of Time acts as that carrot that they're dangling. Say, hey,
carrot.
Yeah, you bonus carrot to come over to Switch 2, right? Like highest reviewed game of all time, looked at by many as the best Zelda game. Obviously Breath of the Wild is there. There's other ones that are there, Link to the Past. But you have that on Switch 2, and then you release Wind Waker Twilight as a Switch 1 game that can be played on Switch 2 and receive enhancements in the same sense that Galaxy 1 and 2 are getting it. Because then you're feeding 2 install bases, but you're also taking 1 install base and saying, hey, look, we got you too, because there's 155, 160 million of you. And look, if you come to Switch 2, you can take your game with you. It's going to play way better.
Right.
Oh, and also we have Ocarina of Time remake. And hey, if you never played it before, this is also going to maybe tie in with the movie, something of that sense. But
I have a question, Joe. I actually don't know how I should go about calling
just Joe, dude. It's
okay.
good.
Yeah. Because you said you weren't like as high on Ocarina of Time as other Zeldas.
I think it's great. I just think I've replayed all of them, and when Tears of the Kingdom was coming out, like that year leading up, I was like, you know what? Let me go back and play. I played Link to the Past for the first time.
Yeah,
I should just beat it again. Wind Waker has always been my favorite.
Hell yeah, baby!
Well, partially
Wind
because
Waker for the win.
Nostalgia. The GameCube was the only console I ever got brand new as a little kid. Black Friday.
So, yeah,
and I got that Zelda collection that had like a demo of Wind Waker.
Yeah, I still have it sealed.
Yeah, I think it's. I think
it's sealed.
Yeah.
No, I don't have it sealed. I just. Yeah. But I think it's great.
Also a shorter Zelda. So it's easier to kind of replay.
I've probably beat Ocarina of Time the most out of any Zelda game.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. I think Skyward Sword HD is slept on. I know it's crazy.
Great story.
I know blasphemous. I don't really like Majora's Mask at all. So maybe
it is blasphemous.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I just want to ask
Wait a second, guys.
Though,
I hate that I have to be peacemaker here tonight.
Wow.
Because I like to stir up chaos. But here's the thing.
In the Peacemaker show, that's exactly what he does.
Sometimes there are moments where there are moments when Majora's Mask, I think maybe Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda because I love the game so much. But have you ever loved something and been like, I love this so much, but if someone told me they didn't like it, I'd get it? That's how I feel
Yeah.
about Majora's Mask, because it's so weird, it's so different that like you saying you don't care for it, even though
I think it's a good
a
game
very close number two
objectively,
for me.
and I like the themes. I like the set, like the feeling. I try to go replay it. I got the Zelda Gold Switch Lite just because I just wanted it, and
Right.
it came with a year of the online membership, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Let me try to play Majora's Mask, Zelda Switch. If I'm ever gonna get into it, this is the time. I got to I don't even know. It's been so long. Like the water section, and you have to get all these little bottles and stuff. And then I was missing a bottle, and then the timer was running out. And I was like, you know what?
I think it's the babies. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, I
Yeah.
don't think I'm having a good time. I think I'm trying to beat it because Zelda's my favorite franchise, and I should beat it. I should be able to say I played it. But I just think I wasn't having a good time. But objectively, I do think it's a good game. Great music, weird story. Yeah, what was your question about Ocarina of Time?
Yeah. By the way, I think Majora's Mask is like a really good other Zelda game, if that makes any sense, right? Like if we wait 6 years
100%.
and we get Majora's Mask, that's not cool. But if we get a mainline Zelda and then 2 years later they go Majora's Mask, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've talked about it in videos how I think that is incredible that they got that back to back.
For sure. But to my question was, what could they do for this theorized and rumored, right? Not confirmed, right? Ocarina of Time remake to make it like, oh my God, this is like the Zelda game. You know, like what could they do?
Number one, they're gonna have to address the controls and the camera. That's weird. You know what I mean? I can't remember if I played it on Nintendo Online.
You don't like the Z targeting? It's
No, I just think
revolutionary for its time.
I just think the same thing if they were to do a Mario 64 remake, the first thing they have to address is the camera.
Right. That's an easy fix because they've already solved that problem.
For sure. And the Nintendo 64 controller, whatever. I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
Stash, man. I still
don't
call
know.
all targeting in games Z targeting. My good friend gets so annoyed. He's like, dude, just call it locking on or like targeting.
No,
Why
it's
do you call
always
everything?
going to be Z targeting.
It's
Yeah.
Z target. I call it Z targeting. Like when I'm like, oh yeah, you can Z target by pressing like.
Yeah,
Bro,
of course.
Why do you keep calling it that?
It's like
That's
when you
what it's
say
called.
it's like when you say press L2 or R2. People understand what
I say that on my
means.
Switch, yeah, and I'm telling my daughters, I'm like L1, L2, and I'm like, oh, okay, but
So like
Dude,
it's funny
voice
for me,
acting,
like,
I
I
think
cycle through them all
yeah,
for people like, oh, just press ZL. And like, what's ZL?
Funny
L2,
story.
LT. Just press the bigger trigger.
Funny
I call
story.
it the same thing too. Yeah.
I think
So-
if they do an Ocarina of Time remake, though, I think one thing that potentially we could do is finally get Link's voice, some kind of voice.
Oh,
Because for the movie, I mean, is he going to talk? What are we going to do in here?
yeah.
I think
I
we need to
agree.
get familiar with some kind of Link
I
talking,
think voice
small
acting
dialect.
would be good to add for the story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A
At
At
jump
least for the
button.
other characters.
A jump button.
Yeah, a jump.
Ocarina of
yeah.
Time. A modern Ocarina of Time remake needs a jump button.
That's very true.
I think
yeah.
the auto jump. It was cool at the time, but I think in a modern
Hasn't aged
remake,
well.
it deserves a jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't aged well.
I enjoy the
I-
game, and I like playing it. It's just when I'm thinking about, like right now, it's like, hey, 5 Zelda games you want to replay. Ocarina of Time just doesn't pop into my head.
I think they should also redo the dungeons. Don't like
The
you know,
water dungeon.
don't copy them, right? Like think about the core concept and like build a new dungeon around that core concept.
Yeah, kind of like the Final Fantasy VII remake thing. I think Gamebird was talking about, or Stash, I can't remember, but or maybe it was Nate, but something, it's familiar. They're not redoing everything. One of y'all were
Someone.
talking about something here.
I did. Yes, the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment.
Yeah, I seen a
Yes.
theory on somewhere. It was a good theory of why somebody thought the remake was coming, and this was like a year ago, and they were saying Final Fantasy VII's getting its remake. This came around the same time. This was, the big PlayStation. the big
Interesting.
Nintendo
That was
game.
exactly my theory.
Yeah, and they were saying that Part 3 is coming out for Final Fantasy VII remake, or is it coming out next year? Or no, 2027. But yeah, it's coming out soon.
Probably 27. I think we'll get Rebirth on Switch 2 and Xbox next year, and we'll get the final act in
Well,
2027.
okay, well, let me reverse the question to you guys who, Ocarina of Time is one of your favorite Zeldas. What would you change about it?
Let's ask Nate first because he had his hand up about something, and I don't know if it's related, but maybe you could do both. if
No,
it's
just
not.
keep going.
But okay, but answer his question, please.
Yeah, Nate, what would you
I don't
change?
think he was asking. I don't think he was asking.
Answer the
He's
question.
asking all of us, which includes
Yeah,
you.
and you're talking.
I thought he was. I thought he literally said that. Hey, since Ocarina of Time is one of your favorite games, That's not one of my favorite games, so I didn't think.
Oh
he was
yeah, see, I didn't know that about you, Nate.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Oh, that's
go.
right. So you're
With your
excluded.
11th favorite Zelda game, this is clearly your favorite. At least it's in the top 11.
not one of my. He said one of my favorite games. That's not just
Oh.
Zelda. That's
It's
all
in the
video.
top 100, maybe.
I'll go, Joe.
yeah, game.
It's in my top 3.
Yeah, I would love to hear from you then.
So, for me, it's pretty simple. Obviously, I want them to use this game to push the Switch 2's hardware to create a fully realized world in a modern engine. So that's the first thing. Second, I want a fully orchestrated soundtrack. Ocarina of Time, in my opinion, has some of the best music in all of gaming.
Yeah,
those two things, as far as immersion go, would be massive.
Let me ask you, have you ever seen those YouTube videos like 5 years ago, and it's like Ocarina of Time remade in Unreal Engine?
Sure. Yeah.
Is that the kind of, not one for one, but like that kind of
art style,
that realism, that
no, actually, like, I think those look fantastic, but I would love to see the Zelda team go for something a little bit more stylized.
Okay.
I think it helps make the game look more timeless. I mean, we talked about
yeah.
this. I pulled up on last week's episode concept art from Majora's Mask because it's so cool and it's so iconic. Here, I'll share it while I talk about the game, in fact, because I should still have it.
Yeah, I just don't know, like, if they're doing a full-on remake, like what art style, what
see.
I think you go back to the,
here we go.
the art.
So when I look at this art style, and it is different than the Ocarina of Time, but I'd love for them to do something inspired by this that has maybe some cell shading, but see the shadowing on this that gives it almost like a darker, more graphic-y novel type look. I'd love something like that makes it timeless. That's just me. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but I would like to see them do something a little bit more with a little bit more heart and character than just.
Can you share my screen just as another example?
I
have it.
Nate, do you know how to do that?
It's queued.
Oh, I see it. Okay,
what do you want?
Cool.
Like that, like that's another.
That's
example.
cool though. That's super stylized. So I love that.
And this is
okay, I can
art.
see it now. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
By the way, the supposed Lego set that's coming out in March
is Ganondorf, right?
It's
this
late
exact
Ganondorf diorama.
I'll be so excited for that.
And they just had the Great Deku Tree come out, right?
Yeah. For it was for Breath and Ocarina of Time.
We talked about that, Andres. You were on the podcast when we were talking about that last year, when we were also talking about this remake, and that was just more reason for us to get it. And now, of course, here's that next set too.
I want to share one more, because there's some good ones, but there's another one that I'm just like, oh, dude, like imagine this like realized in the, with a modern like graphics. I'm trying to find it.
While you pull up, I'll give Joe my last couple bullet points. Modernize controls. I think that's the big one. Make the combat and gameplay feel more modern. I think a jump button is a huge part of that. I think not having it and just having that auto jump when you cross a gap is going to make the game feel dated, and it's just going to feel clunky. And then the last two things is really fleshing out the world, building on the world a lot more. Giving more substance to the storyline, fleshing out the story, giving Ganon more like purpose, more character, fleshing out Zelda's character and the relationship with Link. And then lastly, the last one is voice acting, and that includes Link. Link needs voice acting.
Yeah, we need to hear something from him, because if the first time we hear Link's real voice is in a movie, it's like, is this what he's going to sound like moving forward? Like, what are we doing here? So I just think that's really important.
How high res this is. Like, this is
it's beautiful.
Yeah, something like that I think would be incredible.
It would be really cool
when they announce the game. If it gets announced, I'm gonna be super excited. It's gonna be one of my most anticipated games to play. I think it's I love Zelda. It's just I don't know. When I was younger, I thought Ocarina of Time was incredible. Then I played Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, played them all, and I'm like, yeah, Ocarina of Time's great. Especially it holds up to this day. I think it does. It just I don't know why. And it's crazy. It's actually one of the first games I've ever beat with my neighbor when I was 8 years old. First games I ever beat was Pokemon Yellow when I was 8 years old. Both of those franchises are my favorite franchises still moving forward. I've beat Pokemon Yellow 25 times. The Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee games. I just think those hold up. Like, I don't know what it is. I really don't. Maybe I truly think it's like some kind of issue I have with Majora's Mask. I put those as a collection to me.
Yeah.
I hold those both together. And I just Wind Waker is just my favorite. I played them, close by, but Wind Waker I'm just so damn nostalgic for some reason.
Same here. I'm
Just
I
Majora's
love
Mask
that game
slander is
so much.
making me sad.
I'm doing it only to make you angry.
I literally have like $150 glow up poster on my wall right now.
I think it has some of the best concept art and art period. I even had
Majora's Mask poster.
Yeah, Majora's Mask. I think it looks so good. Some of the shit from it.
So idea, right? With the Ocarina of Time remake, if they're going to be this ambitious, and we're talking about gameplay changes, maybe some voice acted lines, and they change around the structure of the world, the dungeons. Like it's fundamentally it's similar, but it's kind of almost like a Final Fantasy VII or Resident Evil 4 remake sort of ordeal.
Closer to RE4, because Resident Evil is in a. I don't want them to reimagine the game. Like,
Exactly.
oh, this is a reimagining.
Reimagine elements.
Sure. I think
the fairy and how the fairy sounds.
I think it's no. I'll keep that.
Probably change the clothes a little bit for the Great Fairy. They probably.
I don't think so.
I think they would for the younger audience.
I would
honestly.
be very upset about that. I happen to really like those Great Fairies.
Well, I think they got away with it back then because geometry.
More when you're sneaking into the castle, maybe a different kind of stealth segment.
I spent a lot of time at the fairy fountains when I was a kid.
I bet you did.
I'm telling you, I did.
No, listen. I think they could probably make the Great Fairy look awesome, but it would be done in a slightly more tasteful way. Yeah, but the point I want to get at is just I feel like there's opportunity to add a little bit of like more story something there, right?
Yeah.
Like either a light temple, right? So you actually don't just get the medallion for free,
right?
Or maybe they have something to kind of speak to the third timeline, because the idea of Ocarina of Time is it splits the timeline to 3, right? We know 2 of them are explained with the story. The third one's like, oh yeah, Link died. Maybe have something to kind of speak to that, like maybe like he does die and there's like a time warp thing where he dies, but because of some sort of time mechanic, he also gets to relive the event and go again or something. And then all of a sudden you have the 3 different things explained, right? Maybe that's like a mechanic. Yeah. Maybe actually they build on that. They introduce more time travel mechanics. It's not just they make him more so actually literally the hero of time. And my brain's kind of like coming with more ideas, right? Like,
right.
If they kind of build on this idea of making him truly a hero of time, it's not just about going back and forth. He has different time-related abilities, which is more interesting because we think about what they accomplished with Tears of the Kingdom. You have Recall. That's a time-related ability. They can maybe adapt something like that for this game. So that gives you a whole new like sort of hook and gameplay mechanic to kind of mess around with this world. And maybe they can even build the new dungeons around some of these new time travel mechanics, which could then fuel the idea of that final ending, giving us the 3 different possibilities of an outcome leading to the timeline split. So I think that could be something that could really make it feel like something fresh.
Final fight with Ganondorf at the end, make it. I mean, actually the fight is still holds up, I think, but just some grand, crazy thing,
even bigger.
Yeah, even bigger. Yeah, leading up to that. Yeah, there's a lot they could do with it, and that's if it's a remake or a reimagining. I don't think Nintendo really does reimaginings for the most part. I mean, it doesn't feel like it.
I mean, if we're right, this is literally the biggest remake they've ever done.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And then maybe that will sway me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
By the way, I wanted to if they did this right, if we're talking about like some new subtle story inclusions, we go back to Majora's Mask. Like I don't think a Majora's Mask remake is in the works. But if the Ocarina of Time remake happens and is very successful, it then opens the door for that, right? A few years later. And so if that happens, do they repurpose anything, right? I think maybe they do. And I kind of would love it if they had like something to explain the Fierce Deity Mask a little bit. Like that's speaking to some sort of concept. Yeah. Like what if there was like an epilogue journey where you can find like something that speaks to those roots?
I don't know. When you were just talking, Andres, I just got like the ultimate like hopium
Yeah, it's
idea.
all this is mostly hopium.
It's all
Yeah.
it's turned into hopium. But I got the ultimate hopium idea. Imagine we get this gorgeous, wonderful modern remake of this classic Ocarina of Time. You roll credits, but then there's a special treat. When the final credits roll, there it cuts to like the opening seconds of the Majora's Mask. You know, when he's in the forest, and then it fades to black, and it's teasing the sequels now in development. Sort of
that would
thing.
be insane.
But you get just a tease of Link going through that foggy forest on Epona.
I mean, it's actually really interesting how the stories connect so well, because Navi flies off at the end of Ocarina of Time, and so Link's like, okay, where was Navi? So that's interesting.
I don't know if I read this correctly, that they did the time like thing in Majora's Mask because they had to for some reason or something like that. Is that what it is?
I think they thought about basically they made the game more interesting by making you replay the same areas.
Oh, okay. Because I would say, would they do the time thing again?
It was like a smart. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I understand what you're getting at. I think it was something to the idea of thinking about being really intelligent about the design, so they can make the game in a short amount of time, but still make it interesting.
Okay.
And so going back in time to kind of play the same area, but in a different way, you know, was maximizing the content. Oh, that's interesting.
All right. Well, since no one's talking, not everyone's just laughing. We'll probably move on to our last topic. Joe, do you got to head out, buddy?
Yeah, I should actually. I would just say I didn't have much to say about Doug Bowser. I didn't really care one way or the other. Reggie was fantastic. I don't know much about the new lady coming in. She worked at Nintendo since 2006, though, I think I read. So it's not like somebody coming from Ubisoft or something. So we'll see. But guys, thanks for having me. Andres, it was very nice to meet you. I'm a big fan of your work. And I will hopefully see you guys all soon back on this podcast. Nate, thank you.
Yep,
Gamebird Stash, everybody. Peace out.
Yeah, brother.
Good
Have
to
a good
see
night,
you, man.
Bye.
I'm a bigger Andres fan than you. Anyways, next topic.
Well, I'm gonna leave too. I wanted him to have his own exit, so I waited. All right, I'm leaving. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Talk to you later.
See ya
later, man.
Bye.
All right. All right.
I think that comment that scared them off.
So now that you guys scared all of our guests away, let's get to our last topic.
Dude, you were the one picking fights with everyone.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Obviously, you weren't.
No, I want it known that first off, that's just how me and Andres talk offline, let alone online. Secondly, I want it known there was someone in the chat that was like, you know, all Nintendo Prime does is interrupt everyone. And I sat there and I went back through. This podcast has been going on now for 3 hours. I've talked for a grand total of 15 minutes. So I don't want to hear about how much I am interrupting people. I'm barely getting a point in. So,
maybe it was sarcasm.
like, no, they were actually mad. They said, I'm leaving. I'm like, dude, I'm barely talking. I've been silent most of the show. Like, what are we doing? You're just here for the moments when I'm trying to get my point in. I even raised my hand a couple times and put it down because what I wanted to say is irrelevant now because it's been 10 minutes. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like, I can just sit back and listen to the show. Anyway,
he gaslit himself.
It's fine.